In pop music, the chords show up to the party naked. Their wieners are just hanging out, their untrimmed bushes are allowed to see the light of day. But in jazz, we like to dress up our chords with available tension to make everything more sparkly, interesting, and elegant. Let's learn how to dress up our chords. To get good at this, what you really need to know is caged and modes. That's the secret, caged and modes. Let's take a look at a 2-5-1 in the key of C. The 2 chord, D minor, the 5 chord, G7, and the 1 chord, C major. Now, if this was a country song instead of a jazz song, like Willie Nelson performing a standard, you might have something like, I got you under my skin. That kind of treatment of a standard is playing all the chords butt-ass naked. We don't want it. It's disgusting. Don't do it. So, what do we do? Well, first of all, let's learn these chords all in one area in the caged forms. This is what I call a C minor shaped D minor. It's horrible to play. It's not fun for the fingers. Why C minor shaped? Well, this is the C form for a major chord. I flatten the third, I get the C minor form. I have an E form for my 5 chord and an A form for my 1 chord. So it's a 2, 5, 1. But everything is butt-ass naked. The first thing I want to do is figure out the modes that go with each one of them. So the thing you want to see is the major scale moving through these 3 shapes. Here's the major scale D to D inside this grip. Here's the major scale G to G inside this grip, or in the next octave. And here's the major scale C to C in this grip. Now, what I want to understand are where are my available tensions. Available is the key word. So what is an available tension? An available tension is a tension, meaning the 2, 4, or 6, also named the 9, 11, and 13th, that is a whole step above a chord tone, not a half step. Meaning, if I have a tension, a 2, 4, or a 6, that's a half step away from a chord tone, a 1, 3, or a 5, then it's going to suspend the chord. It's going to create tension, and I don't want it in my voicing. It doesn't function harmonically. So I'm looking for 2s, 4s, and 6s that are a whole step away. In mixolydian, meaning on the 5 chord, that C note is a half step away from the 3rd. The 4th is a half step away from the 3rd. On that Ionian, on the 1 chord, the F is a half step away from the E. The 4th is a half step away from the 3rd. In Dorian, everything is fair game. Now, why am I looking for these tensions? Well, they help me dress up the chord, and that's what I'm looking for. So inside this C minor form of the D minor, instead of playing this triad, I can dress it up by adding the 9th right here. And the 11th on top, that's nice. Or the 6, 9, and the 11. All this color. So these are Dorian voicings. I'm trying to make a map that's connected to these caged areas. So here are some nice ways of playing the D minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is kind of dressed up, just the 7th, but it's all right. So the way most people learn and teach this stuff is by just learning a big vocabulary of grips. Like they say, this is a jazzy D minor, here's another one, here's another one, here's a G7, and sort of mix and match them. A way better way to do this is to go through the inversions of the triad, meaning the caged grips, and see the scale and come up with a vocabulary that actually connects in order. What do I mean by that? Well, if this is my C minor form, let's say I just take 2 grips that are jazzy by using tension, by using 9s, 11s, and 13s to color the chord. Here's a 9 chord. Okay, now here's the A minor form. Here's a minor 7, but with this flatted 7th on top. Or even better, this kind of like A minor with D in the bass that gives me this nice color. inside this G minor area, this is the G minor form of caged. Let's say I'm seeing this minor 11. Inside the E minor form, let's look at this E minor 9. There are more options. I'm just snagging one voicing from each area. Inside this D minor form, let's take these two, and even this one. Now when we connect them, we become Joe fucking Pass, right? That's just the C minor form, to the A minor form, to the E minor form, to the D minor form. So it becomes this roadmap through Dorian by mixing the scale and the caged form. But what I want to do is do that with Dorian, Mixolydian, and Ionian. So that was sort of a roadmap through Dorian, just some good usable voicings. So D minor 9, that's a nice one. D minor 9, 11. That's a good one for the C minor grip. Here's another one. That's a good one. Here's another good one for the A minor form. Here are some good ones for the G minor form. Even. That's a nice one here. Here's the E minor form grip. Another one and another one. D minor. These are all nice. Cool. Combining them to make lines. That's the key. So let's say I have, I got you under my skin. So I have that whole measure, 4 beats of that D minor. Baby, ba-da-do-do. I got you in that space. I got you. G. Or, right? I can connect it however way I want. A great thing to do is focus on the melody. Nita, it's better, right? That's what I'm doing. Let's say I want it to be a little more chromatic-y. I can always sidestep. If I want to sidestep, I want to connect it melodically, meaning come up with a line that I want to hear. See what I'm doing? I played 2 of my grips, then I had this one chromatic thing from outside of the scale into the scale, so I just moved the voicing chromatically into it. If I want to hear a line that goes, I can go. A lot of the stuff Joe Pass was doing. Could be expressed as. So I'm sidestepping into these harmonies. Now, I need to understand Mixolydian too. Here's G Mixolydian following the caged forms. E, D, C, A, and G. But I want to see chords that I can use. So instead of this, or just dominant kind of inversions that sound like my ass, you can put these things. 13th, 9th, 13th, just 9. Different form of the 9. These are all E grips. I can go. I can use all sorts of shit. If I go to that D form, this sounds horrible. This makes you sound like you're a buffoon, right? Here's a 2-5-1. Isn't that a little too happy, right? I got you under my skin. You notice, right? You notice how terrible that sounds. I hope you notice. Instead of that, how about this one? For the 5 chord. Ooh. That's elegant, right? What is that? Well, for the G7, I have the root, the 5th, the flatted 7th, and the 9th on top. Cool voicing. As I get to that C form, classic 9 chord, James Brown. What's that? Well, that's just the same as this 13 chord, just down here. Notice 2-5-1. nice sound. I'm making a line. Right? You can make all sorts of cool shit happen if you understand caged. Here's that A form, most horrible sound there is. It's a bad voicing for jazz. That's not good to put that major third on top. It's too happy. That's a nice voicing. That's a nice voicing, right? So I'm seeing this scale and I'm taking these melodies from it. Now the G form is by far the richest one from Mixolydian. Check out how many great voicings live in it. If I have this G area for that G chord, here's one. Everybody uses that from Stevie Ray Vaughan to Wes. You can use this one. You can use this one, this one, this one, this one. So many chords are here, right? 2, 5, 1. Check out this line. Here's a 2, 5, 1. If I go, that was nice, right? Look at that little thing I did all in Mixolydian. Just first voicing, that's a flat 7, 2, 3 root. Then I suspended it. This is kind of like an F major 7. B minor 7 flat 5, that's a rootless G9, just a G9, and then resolve it to maybe C6, that kind of thing, or even just a C triad sounds good. Play one naked chord at the end, kind of works, right? Brings it to rest. If I look at my Ionian voicings, right, what do I have here? Here's my C form. I don't want to play this naked stuff, but this dresses it up a little bit. I can use this C6, 9. Maybe I can throw the major 7 in. I can throw the major 7 in here. A normal major 7, a little bit too naked, but a 9 sounds good. In the G form, I have this kind of major 7 chord, super common, right? In the E form, I can play a 6, 9, major 7, 6, 9 up here. 6, 9, and a major 7. In the D form, I can play this major 7, this 6 chord. So I have these voicings everywhere, but the trick is that I'm connecting them in my mind to those caged forms, and I'm drawing the sounds out of the modes. Now, where can you take this? What's a step up? Well, on the 5 chord, you don't have to extract the voicings from Mixolydian. Let's take a look at symmetric diminished. So here's D Dorian, but now I'm looking at G half whole diminished, this sound. So this gives me a flat 9, a natural 6, and a sharp 4. So I can start combining those. Ooh. Sharp 4, 6, flat 9. Spicy, right? Maybe too much. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to use it. If something's clashing or sounds too like disgusting and vile for the mood you're trying to create, like that sharp 11 was too much tension, it doesn't mean I'm playing the wrong scale. It just means that in that palette of color for the picture I'm painting, at that spot, it's like, maybe that shade is not good, right? So be mindful of that. So this voicing from diminished works. If I want another one that sounds pretty dope, this kind of thing, flat 7, 3, sharp 4, that's the root, right? That could be resolved here. That's a nice sound if I'm going from. Right? Maybe you can do that, like, I got you under my skin. That works. In that D form of the G, first of all, get your bearings, understand the intervals, right? Where does that scale lay? Here's your root, here's your 5th. Maybe I can put that sharp 4 here, half step below the fifth. Maybe I can use a flat 7 in place of the root. Maybe I can use that third on top. Now I have this voicing from here. Diminished voicing. 1. Oh shit, that works. Next area, I have a 2. Here's my 5 chord. Well, let's use diminished voicings. Instead of the root, I'll use a flat 2, right? Here's my flat 7. Maybe I'll keep that. Third is pretty good. That's a nice sound. Maybe I'll put a sharp 11 on top like this. Ooh, that allows me this motion from, let's say, that's nice. Nice, right? So I'm seeing it on these forms. That's on the C form. Here's that A form. Let's say this is the voicing I'm snagging from that A form. Well, what is that? I have root. Here's a 4th. I don't have a 4th in diminished, so sharp 4, flat 7. I don't have a 9. Here's a sharp 9. That gives me a minor 7 flat 5, kind of like 2 on the nose for me right now. I have that 6 here. That voicing is from diminished, but again, a little too nasty. Maybe if I change some things here, that gives me a nice voicing. But maybe I want the 3rd on top to kind of balance out that voicing, like, that's a nice sound, right? That sharp 9 may change the color of the chord to make it too much like a minor 7 flat 5, even though it would work. To me, it's a little bit too stinky, but I can use this. That's a cool grip from diminished, right? I'm just seeing the scale. Root, flat 2, sharp 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7, root, flat 2, sharp 2, 3, right? Sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7, root of that G in the A form. So I'm just constructing from it, making that voicing. Inside that G form, here's a classic voicing. Everybody uses that. So that's diminished. I'm seeing it as diminished. I have flat 7, flat 2, 3, and 6 on top. Right? If I want to make it stankier, I can add that sharp 11 here. Ooh, listen how much tension, right? From that 2 chord. That's cool. I got you under my skin. So this should give you an idea of the process, the mental process of dressing up jazz chords. Remember, if you can see the caged forms well, it doesn't give you stuff to play in jazz. It gives you a sense of the naked dudes with their floppy wieners waving in the wind. Your job is to take the mode and learn how to dress them up in each position, and then learn how to make them move from one place to the other in the music. If you dig this content, please leave a comment below for a chance to win a free month on our Patreon, which is the mega Patreon. It's the best one out there. It dwarfs all the other Patreons. We squash them. We destroy them. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all the things, and we'll see you next time.